So this is the exact way that I learned how to meditate. It's the way that changed my life. It's what helped me get past my ADD, my ADHD, my anxiety, social anxiety, overthinking, negative thoughts. It's what helped me to really improve my life. Right? And I hope that it can help you as well. I hope it can help you maybe meditate for your first time, or if you already meditate, I hope it can help you go even deeper with your meditation. Right? But when I first learned about meditation, someone told me about it, so I went home, I sat down. I don't know, I tried meditating for like a few minutes, got up, thought that shit was boring, so I didn't meditate again for months down the road. Now this time when I came back to meditation, I had Googled and I YouTubed everything, and the stuff that I was finding, it was too much. Like, it was an overload of information. But aside from that, the first thing that I started with was guided meditations. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have done guided meditations. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about guided meditations, but they just get you calm and relaxed. Right? That's pretty much it. You know, that's, in my opinion, that's pretty much all they're good for, because most people won't feel anything more than that. They won't go into a truly, truly deep meditative state, and they won't have too much of a carryover effect from guided meditations into their real lives, right? I remember I did guided meditations for a while, and yeah, I felt a little bit more calm and a little bit more at peace, but it wasn't long. Like, it didn't last very long. And I remember I had listened to this one guided meditation while I was sitting down, and I remember I had my eyes closed, and this lady was talking over the soundtrack, and she was basically saying to tense up certain muscles, relax certain muscles, and then she was saying to kind of do body scans and then focus on our breathing, on the inhale, exhale. And at one point, I remember she was telling us to focus on the inhale. She's like, take that deep breath in and open your heart. That shit happened. I started looking down. I said, open my heart? Girl, what you mean open my heart? Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I remember that right there had put me off from guided meditation, because to me at that moment in time, it was a bit extra, right? And after that, I decided to start meditating to music. And although this was an amazing experience, what I realized is that as I'm meditating to the music, it's great the first few times, but after a while, like, the effects begin to wear off. Like, you no longer get the same effect from that same track, and it's like you have to find a new song to give you that same feeling. And then over time, you start becoming dependent on the music in order to meditate. And as far as the carryover effect, it only lasts within the first few times that you meditate to a song. After that, the effects in your actual overall life are non-existent. I mean, it's almost as if you don't even meditate whatsoever. Now, once I realized this, I decided to meditate without music, and I felt like the very first time when I tried meditating, where I was just bored and my mind was constantly pacing back and forth, and I just couldn't find to get into those meditative states like I did when I was listening to the music. So what I did is I took my ass outside, right? And outside, it's natural stimulus, right? So it's kind of like natural music in the sense that you have these constant sounds, or these constant things that are happening that you could see, or maybe like different temperatures, or like the sun hitting you, or maybe being in the shade. You feel different stimulus, and it's not rhythmic, right? Like when you listen to music, there's a rhythm to it. But when you're outside, there's not much of a rhythm. It just kind of sporadic. Right? You might have a rhythm for like a few seconds, but then it changes real quick. And that's the beauty about being outdoors. Because that stimulus is constantly changing, it's so easy to get into those deep meditative states. I mean, check this out real quick.
See that? You hear that?
But yeah, whenever you start meditating outside, it's super easy to get into those deep meditative states. Now, the first thing that I started to do when I was meditating outside is I would let my mind think about anything that it wanted, right? And my goal was to try to be as present as I could with every thought that I was thinking about, right? Because a lot of times, we think, but we're not even aware of what we're thinking. We only are aware of like certain thoughts, maybe ones that put us down, like a negative thought, or maybe overthinking, like we keep thinking about one thing over and over and over again, or maybe we're aware of like this really good thought because we're thinking about something that might happen, right? But those are the ones that we're truly aware of, but there's so many other thoughts happening that we are just unaware of, we're unconscious, we just don't even see them. So when I first started meditating outside with no music, that's what I started doing. I let my mind go off, think about whatever it wanted, and I stayed as present as I could with every single thought. All right, this began to build my awareness, or for lack of better words, it began to build my attention span to where I could kind of like pay attention more. And I was more aware of like what thoughts were going on throughout my head. And in terms of paying attention more, like because I have the ADD, because I had the ADHD, it's very hard to focus, very hard to pay attention. And I started noticing these very, very subtle effects, almost as if I was taking maybe ginkgo biloba or phosphatidylserine or any anotropic, or I don't know, I'm probably butchering the name, but those are just things that you take that are kind of like natural alternatives to meds. But either or, there's natural ways around it. You don't have to take either. But anyways, once I started doing that, I started being able to focus more, being able to pay more attention. Like I said, having that awareness over my thoughts. And after about a week or so of meditating in that fashion, I switched it over to just focusing on my breathing. Now, if you guys have watched my videos, I always tell you guys, focusing on your breathing is probably the best thing that you can do. Now, I say that, but I want you to know that that's just the starting point. All right, now, whether I tell you now, whether you have heard it from somewhere, whether you realize this on your own, it really is just a starting point. And the reason I say that is because when you start meditating, or let me rephrase this, when I started meditating and I was focusing on my breathing, anytime that my mind would wander and just think about something else, I would bring my attention back to my breathing. And while I'm meditating, it would work, right? Like I would get into these pretty deep meditative states. But then in real life situations, if someone's talking to me and I'm over here trying to focus on my breathing, well then I'm not really paying attention to what they're saying, right? So then they're speaking, I'm over here focusing on my breathing, and then my mind's over here trying to pace back and forth saying, oh, well, what am I gonna say next? So now I'm over here thinking about, what am I gonna say next? I'm over here trying to focus on my breathing, and then I'm over here trying to listen to this person and to what they're saying. So you can obviously see how anxiety would arise. You could obviously see how these conversations wouldn't flow. You can see how everything bad that could happen would happen at that point. There was no presence. I wasn't able to like be fully there, right? I was kind of like still not there. So in turn, instead of the meditation bringing me into the present, it was taking me out of the present, right? So that's when I had switched it up, and this very, very slight switch up is what did it for me. It's what changed everything for me, and hopefully it could change everything for you as well. All right, now the slight switch up is that I would sit down, I would focus on my breathing. Now once my mind wanders off, instead of bringing my attention back to my breathing, what I did is I took advantage and I brought my attention to what I'm hearing. So for instance, like if I'm in the gym, right, like if I'm at my job and I'm over here training someone, if I find that I'm not present, that I'm over here stuck in my head, I'm over here thinking about things, I'll stop for a second, literally put all my attention on my breathing, right? And I will wait for it, because I know it's gonna happen. I know that my mind is at one point or another gonna take over and gonna start thinking about something. So I focus on my breathing. I wait for my mind to start thinking. And as soon as I catch it thinking about something, not only do I shift my awareness, but I shift it to what I am hearing or what I am seeing around me. And because of this, it allows me to be fully immersed in the present. It allows me to be able to like hyper focus as if I've never had ADD, as if I've never had ADHD, right? That is how I was able to learn meditation years ago. And that is how meditation has actually changed my life and shifted everything and had that carryover effect. All right? Take it as you will. Watch other people's videos on how to meditate. You know, try to find a way that works best for you. Don't just try to like do one way, and if it doesn't work, quit, right? And if you're not meditating, then what the hell are you doing? Meditate. Don't use music. Don't use guided meditations. Get out in nature, and you'll see the difference. I hope this video has helped you in one way, shape, or form. If you like the video, then make sure to like the video. If you like the content, then make sure to subscribe. And if you've done this and it works for you, or if you do this and you notice the difference yourself, then make sure to share this video, because everybody deserves to be free. And with that, remember, the time is now.